Forza Motorsport changed my life. I was introduced to the Forza series in 2009 with the release of Forza Motorsport 3. I had just turned 9 years old at the time. Admittedly, I wasn't initially all that into it. I was more into the chaotic, open-world environments of Need for Speed Most Wanted and Need for Speed Carbon, so a more serious, track-focused racer wasn't exactly my cup of tea. My earliest experiences with FM3 mostly consisted of driving backwards on oval circuits and causing head-on collisions with the AI drivers. I could do this for hours and stay entertained. I didn't have internet connectivity at the time, so I thankfully never did this in public multiplayer races. This basically sums up my entire Forza experience for the first couple of years. Then, fast forwarding to about 2011 or so, I started getting into Forza more seriously. I had actually started playing the game for real rather than just causing on-track carnage, and I began to really enjoy it. It felt refreshing and exciting compared to the Need for Speed formula I was so accustomed to at that point. This was the start of what would go on to become my most played video game franchise. Forza Motorsport was life-changing. I have been playing racing video games for pretty much as far back as my memory goes. Dating back to around 2003 or so, my earliest racing game memories consist of playing Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed on the Game Boy Advance. It was so much fun. Then, in 2005, my father got this new, fancy, white rectangular machine called the Xbox 360, and along with it, a copy of Need for Speed Most Wanted. I would sit on the couch and watch him play, and my 5-year-old self thought it was the coolest thing ever, especially the cop chases. I couldn't get enough of it, but being 5 years old, I obviously wasn't allowed to play. That all changed a couple of years later when my father started letting me use the Xbox. This was a dream come true for my 7-year-old self. I spent countless hours on Need for Speed Most Wanted and Need for Speed Carbon. I couldn't get enough of it. To this day, Need for Speed Most Wanted remains my favorite video game of all time. However, despite how much I love mid-2000s Need for Speed titles, they don't come close to Forza Motorsport in terms of how the series has changed my life. Like I mentioned, Forza Motorsport 3 was my first racing game in the series. As of today, my experience with the franchise also consists of Forza Motorsport 4, Motorsport 6, Motorsport 7, as well as the 2023 Motorsport reboot. Someday, I'd like to get my hands on old copies of FM1 and FM2 and experience those as well. Forza Motorsport 5 is often regarded as the worst game in the Motorsport series, so I'm glad I missed that one and have no intention of ever playing it. Across FM3, FM4, FM6, FM7, and FM23, I easily have 10,000 hours in the series. Forza Motorsport 3 is my favorite of the bunch, as it was my first experience with the franchise. Even today, it's still fun to go back and play Motorsport 3. From the sleek menus to the engaging narration and the excellent handling paired with fun races, everything about FM3 is awesome. And it's not just nostalgia, it's a genuinely good game. Then Forza Motorsport 4 came along and took everything Motorsport 3 did and did it even better, while also coming jam-packed with new and exciting features. Unfortunately, my first time with FM4 wasn't until 2017, and by that point, most players had moved on and the community features were largely abandoned. It was still a fun game regardless, but because I didn't experience it during its prime, I don't hold the same sentiment towards it as those who had the privilege of doing so. It's still a great game, but Motorsport 3 will always hold that number one spot for me. However, Forza Motorsport 6 was the turning point for me and changed my life in ways I couldn't imagine. In the summer of 2016, this new thing called the Forza Racing Championship rolled around. On top of a generous cash prize, the winner of the competition would drive away in a brand new 2017 Ford Focus RS, which ended up going to the incredibly talented Aeroline Mallet, otherwise known as Lage. I was a few months away from turning 16 at the time, and I wanted that 2017 Ford Focus RS more than anything in the world. To qualify for this championship, players competed in Forza RC time attack events, and the fastest players on the leaderboard would advance to a set of online knockout races. The survivors of those knockout races would then advance to the in-person final, where the cash prize and the glorious 2017 Ford Focus RS were up for grabs. Up to this point, I was an extremely casual player. I never really tried to be fast or actually be good at the game. I played with all the assists turned on, and I was about as bottom of the barrel as you could get. So when I went into that first time attack qualifying event, I got my gluteus maximus thoroughly handed to me. At the top of the leaderboard at the time was Lage, and it was mind-blowing to me how quick he was. I remember being a solid 10 seconds off his time, and I just couldn't fathom how he was so fast. All my hopes of winning that Focus RS were instantly shot down. but I didn't give up. It sparked a fire in me that would eventually lead me to become a top player myself. I watched YouTube videos from the likes of Super GT and Raceboy77 on how to get fast in Forza and how to play without assists. And because I was 16 years old with no responsibilities besides school, I basically had all the time in the world to grind Forza Motorsport 6 and get good. I started taking one assist off at a time, and after a couple of months, I had learned how to play the game assist-free. That alone shaved seconds off my lap times. Suddenly, I was 3 to 5 seconds off the top players instead of 10 plus seconds. That was still slow, but it was a step in the right direction. I stagnated and stayed in that 3 to 5 second range for about a year or so. Then, in 2017, Forza Motorsport 7 came out, and it was a game changer, both figuratively and literally. I got along with the physics of FM7 much better than FM6, and after a few months of playing, I was consistently able to get within 3 seconds of the top players, sometimes under 2 seconds. This game consumed all of my free time. I wanted nothing more than to be a top player. In 2018, the Forza RC returned for a 4th season, and this is when I really kicked the grind into overdrive. I was consistently between 1.5 seconds and 2 seconds off the top players, which was a huge improvement over just a couple of years prior. I even made it past one of the time attack stages and advanced to one of the online Sunday heats, as they were called. Unfortunately, with this being my first upper echelon race, I fumbled the bag and went flying into a tire barrier almost immediately. I had to quit out of the race because my car was so damaged that I couldn't realistically continue. However, making it that far was proof that I had it in me. I turned the grind dial up even further and spent countless hours, day in, day out, doing nothing in my free time but grinding time attack events and online races. I eventually reached a point where I was claiming time attack world records and consistently winning online races. By 2019, I was finally able to get within 1 second of the fastest players. I was regularly placing in the top 50 on time attack leaderboards, winning races, and it felt like all that time and effort was paying off. In 2021, all that time and effort culminated in qualifying for the grand final of the UMG Gaming Late Shift Challenge, where I finished in 11th place out of 20 contestants and walked away with $300 in winnings. I felt like I had finally made it, but the journey was far from over. Unfortunately, after the Late Shift Challenge, Motorsport 7's competitive scene died down significantly. From the conclusion of Late Shift in August 2021 until the release of Forza Motorsport 2023 in October 2023, pretty much nothing of note happened. Then, with the release of the FM reboot, Logitech rolled onto the scene with the Logitech McLaren G Challenge. After years of nothing, this was incredibly exciting for everyone in the community. As of December 2025, we're in the 5th and likely final season of the McLaren G Challenge, and across these 5 seasons, I have made it to the grand final every time. In fact, I'm going into the grand final of Season 5 in the top qualifying spot in North America, which takes place on January 31st, 2026. 10 years ago, this is something I never could have imagined, so it feels incredibly rewarding to have made it this far after starting basically as far down the barrel as you can get. It didn't come easily though. I easily have 10,000 hours across all the FM games I've played. Forza Motorsport was basically my entire existence from ages 16 to 22. Over the last few years, I've taken a step back and have focused on other games, hobbies, and interests, like working on this YouTube channel. But Forza has continued to have a significant place in my life. I've earned around $1,200 from various competitions over the last 4 years, which isn't a ton of money, but that's still $1,200 from playing one of my favorite series ever. Something I never could have imagined when my 9-year-old self first picked up the series in 2009. I still have a hard time believing it. And it's not just the money. I've also built a notable presence in the competitive Forza scene and even recently joined the highly regarded team Highlands Racing, a team I looked up to and could only dream of being a part of when I got into competitive Forza Motorsport in 2016. I deeply cherish the relationships and friendships I've established along the way. Forza Motorsport has changed my life. I doubt there will ever be another series that affects my life the way Forza Motorsport has, and with the reality of me now being 25 years old with real-life responsibilities, I don't have the time to grind video games like I did 10 years ago. I will never forget this chapter of my life. I hate to see it end, but as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. Given all this, the recent news of Forza Motorsport's cancellation is crushing to me. The writing has been on the wall for a long time, as the series has been on a slow and gradual decline for many years, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. Seeing it officially confirmed that Forza Motorsport is done for feels like getting stung by 1,000 hornets. I'd love to see Forza Motorsport return someday, but that's nothing more than a pipe dream. Forza Motorsport 2023 was the reboot of the series, and it failed. They're not going to do a second reboot, as much as I wish they would. There's still Forza Horizon, of course, but it's just not the same. I personally don't like Forza Horizon. I really enjoyed the first game, however, pretty much every game after that has felt like the same empty experience on boring maps with no real sense of direction. Horizon is so aimless, whereas open-world classics like Need for Speed Most Wanted and Need for Speed Carbon had clear goals and objectives. The feeling of taking down Razor at the end of Most Wanted is one of the most euphoric feelings on the planet. Horizon doesn't come close to it. The Horizon series also lacks many competitive features compared to Motorsport, so there's just no incentive for me to play. My only hope is that with Turn 10 Studios helping develop Forza Horizon 6, we'll see competitive features that have never before been present in Horizon. Time attack replays are one example. The ability to watch other players' replays is incredibly useful when trying to learn or improve with a specific car and track combination, and it's something that's never been present in Horizon. And that's just one feature of many. I hope Horizon 6 changes the boring, repetitive formula the series has established, but I'm not going to hold my breath. The cancellation of Forza Motorsport is very unfortunate, and it's even more unfortunate because it could have been avoided if the higher-ups had actually listened to the players and built the games around what players wanted, rather than what they think the players wanted. There will never be another series like Forza Motorsport. The fate of Forza Motorsport is a cautionary tale of what happens when publishers don't listen to player feedback. Goodbye, Forza Motorsport. You will be missed.